The Kenwood DMC-S55 is a fun player that came with a speaker dock and great battery life. I like the design of the S, T, and V series, and I received this one that wouldn't power up. Here you can see the dock connector, and we can use that to do some testing if the gum stick won't power it. If I had an AA sidecar, I could use that to test, but I don't, so let's try the dock. As you can see, it's trying to provide power, which is a good sign. There must be another reason the gum stick isn't turning it on. Yep, it's powered up and tries to play a disc. Let's get ready to open it up. As usual, we'll start with the bottom case. Note, there are 3 screws that are longer, 2 near the battery, 1 on the bottom. Once that's off, we'll hinge the cover off, starting at the battery door side. Those 2 black plastic circles will need to be positioned in the case before we reassemble. I don't see a lot of corrosion, but I see some near the negative terminal. A bit of corrosion here at the door hinge, a different design than most. Let's clean some of the rear terminal. I know the back of the terminal shouldn't affect it. But remember, this stuff can flake off, and if it gets into the lens or gears, that wouldn't be good. Let's take a closer look at Kenwood's battery door hinge design, since it's different than most others. You can see there's a small arm that touches another raised contact that we just cleaned. After all that vinegar, let's clean it off with isopropyl alcohol. Let's test it out again. Let's grab the remote so we can see what's going on. We have power. Okay, now that it's working, let's look at that hinge again. This design is quite different than others that use a simple rotating hinge, and a bit of corrosion can stop it from working. Let's look at a Sony MZ-N1 to compare. It's a simple rotating hinge. These can get loose over time. and lead to poor connectivity. Okay, since I've got it open, let's clean and lube a bit. Just 4 screws for the top lid. Some hair and dust we'll want to clean. Lens first with alcohol, then we'll clean the rest. Let's clean the rest. Again, we don't want dust or hair, lint getting into the gears or laser. Now, I'll clean the old lubricant from the laser sled rail and gear shaft. I'm adding a thin coat of white lithium grease to the sled rail and gear shaft, thin enough to barely be seen. I like to finish with the laser sled at the far side, so when it powers up, it will move back inwards and work the lube around. Here, I'm trying to get a bit between the threads. We'll let the actual rotation help distribute it. Since this is not a full teardown, I will add a bit here, but it's not really necessary. If you spread too much, clean it off with isopropyl alcohol. Okay, top lid goes back on, just 4 screws. Remember these? These go into the two holes near the dock connector. They can be fiddly, so carefully line up the ridged portion into the hole. Once they're in, gravity will keep them in place since we want to assemble the case in this orientation. As you prepare, make sure the hold switch is in the right place and hold the eject switch upwards with your finger. We'll start from the jack side. And there it is. Everything looks good and in the right place. Time to screw it back together. Remember, 3 of the longer screws go near the battery door and 1 on the bottom. Final test. It's working fine. I had a Kenwood DMC-T55 with the same issue and have a blog post about that as well. An interesting thing about the Kenwood players, their remotes aren't broadly cross-compatible like many of the Sony or Sharp ones. Fun fact, you can go seamlessly from portable to dock with the music outputting to the speakers immediately. Now you can quickly charge while listening. Thanks for watching.